Hey everybody, welcome back to this EWR series. My name is Andy, the Uncommentator. This is episode number 10 of the series where I am booking Control Your Narrative. So we've made it to double figures, and that's a little bit of a milestone. Now I'm recording this on the 8th of May, so we're a couple of days away from Backlash, I believe. You can see there though, I'm currently on the 4th of April, so I'm about a month behind real time. But that's not important. What is important is what we're going to be doing in this episode, and that is continuing the build to our April event, which is not called Backlash. It is called Final Command, which is going to be on the 18th of April. So we've got a couple of weeks to go before we get to that event. So that should be 4 more shows. So as I said, in this episode, we're going to be doing the next episode of this YouTube series. I'm going to be doing the next 2 episodes of this fictional wrestling programs. So it's going to be Disruption, and then, of course, After Dark. So as I said, we've got 4 shows to do before we get to our next event. But, of course, we're only going to be doing 2 in this video. Before I crack on, I just want to give a quick shout-out to Mike. I'm assuming your name's Mike. Thank you for reaching out. Thank you for the feedback. I am really, really grateful. Of course, if you don't give me feedback or leave comments or whatever, I am still eternally grateful for anyone that watches any of my videos. But yeah, thanks for reaching out, and I do appreciate the kind words. It's nice to capture someone's imagination with this series, so hopefully this video will be of the sufficient quality for you and everybody else. But the only way we're going to find that out is by getting on with it, and that's exactly what we're going to do now, because our next show is going to be on a Monday, and it's going to be Disruption on Monday. So Trey Miguel has gone to the National Wrestling Alliance, fair enough, as has Samurai Del Sol and AR Fox. I'm guessing they've just held a show and increased their public image. Speaking of public image, ours is around 43, so we need to keep it ticking over if we can. It'll drop to 41 now, no doubt, when we get into the next week. Yep, because that's quite irritating. I'm sure that's happening because of the risk, but I could be wrong. Okay, Impact has been renewed. That's useful to know. Impact Wednesday, so that's fictional. A new show that they got since this series started. I've got 2 weeks left. Speaking of TV shows, I need to decide what I'm going to do with After Dark. I don't know whether to renew the deal or not, or let it expire and then hope I get a new TV. Because I can't afford to go down to 1 show a month, but I don't really want to be in this graveyard slot anymore. So that's a conundrum for another time though. See, we are on the 7th of April, and at the next episode of Disruption. It's been a couple of weeks actually since I recorded, so I'm hoping I can remember where we're at with everything. I've got a note thing that I refer to, but normally when I play this game, before I did recordings, I used to use this notepad section. So if anyone does play this game, I'd recommend using the notepad, because it's a good way of. I'm using a word processing application, but yeah, I think I know what it's called. I don't know, free advertising for someone who doesn't need it. But yeah, I'd recommend using Notepad, because if you come back to it after if it's 3 or 4 weeks before playing, in between playing, sorry, then it's an easy way to refresh your memory. Anyway, I need to refresh my memory and remember what we're building up to in this for this April event. I think I can remember largely where we're going, but let's see when we get there. But anyway, we're going to kick things off tonight with a tag team match player. I think I do that joke every time I have a tag team match, don't I? But I'll try and think of a new one. So it's going to be, say his name and he appears. He's going to open the show. It's going to be Joe Hendry and Grizzly Redwood, not Gable Steveson, and they're going to be taking on Viano 4 and Jake Atlas. I don't think there's much story going into this one, to be honest with you. I think it's just a tag team match. Obviously, Joe Hendry and Viano 4 have had words. Jake have had a bit of a rivalry in the past. Jake Atlas I think basically Jake Atlas moaned he was getting held. He moaned he hadn't been on TV for a bit. Did we do that? Did we do the AW interview? I don't think we did. Anyway, This match is happening for some reason. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I do know that the heels are going to win. So Viano can pin Redwood. And we'll say it's clean, why not? Okay. And then we're going to go into an angle, and I know why this angle is happening. So it's going to be a one-on-one angle, and it's going to be... Yeah, they can meet trading, so why not? So it's going to be Adam Scherr and Matt Raywald. So Matt Raywald, of course, is Omos' manager, so that's essentially what they just do here. They basically continue with the Omos and Adam Scherr feud. Without actually putting Omos on TV, because I have to pay him if I do that. So I'm trying to save money. But yeah, essentially that's what would happen here. They just Matt Ray will just mock Adam Scherr for losing to Omos, and Adam had been hit back about his hardcore match victory over Jimmy Havoc. I said Jimmy Raven over Jimmy Havoc, and yeah, how he's gonna repeat the feat when they meet in a possible hardcore match, some kind of death match. Anyway, at the event. Okay, next up, a slightly different angle than what we've done before. So it's going to be, I think it's a Diva angle we need to use. Very rarely use these. Which one is it? I thought you could have... I thought you could have two women fight over a man, but I don't look like you can. So we'll go with protects her man. That's what we'll do. It's not really, but that's kind of that's what we're gonna have to do. So it's gonna be Mina Shirakawa and Chris Dickinson and Maki Itoh. I mean, essentially, what would happen here? I mean, like I said, this is not a this is not. I mean, Maki Itoh's not trying to take it, but basically what would happen is Maki would be backstage. She'd be like practicing her singing or something. Chris Dickinson would be walking past. Maki would shout him over. She'd start singing to him, and Mina would see this and get jealous and run over and sort of like snatch the microphone out of the hand or something like that. And Maki then backs away and just says, "Well, you know, I wasn't really." You know, it's not my fault. I've got a beautiful voice, and you know this beauty. You know, she kind of winds it. She's not really flirting with him, but Mina's kind of, because Mina's got a bit of a thing for Chris Dickinson apparently. She doesn't like it, and yeah. So Maki then just says, "Well, I was only singing. Oh, screw you," or whatever, and then just walks off. And Chris Dickinson's a bit bemused because again, he still doesn't fully trust Mina Shirakawa, but Shirakawa's like really throwing herself at him. Anyway, that continues that little storyline. And then next up we've got an interview, and it's with Jake Atlas, and he doesn't target anyone. He just basically says, "Hey, look how good I was in this opening match," and you know, I finally get put. I think that's what I was going with the opening match. So I finally get on TV, and look what happens. I win a match. Well, amazing, that isn't it? I'm sick of being held down, playing the homophobia card, blah 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 blah. And then we have got two segments rolled into one. So it's going to be a challenge for tonight, and it's going to be Shark Boy and EC3. So Shark Boy is annoyed at EC3 for bringing in people that he doesn't think should be in the wrestling business, such as he thinks EC3 is responsible for Patrick Clark, responsible for Jimmy Havoc getting a brief gig, responsible for Marty Skrull, responsible for, you know, basically, because if EC3 is in charge, he's bringing these people in, essentially. So he challenges EC3. EC3 obviously in commentary, he just shakes his head. He just shakes his head, grabs the microphone and says, "Well, I'm not fighting you, but if you want to fight, you know, you've got your gear on, so you can face this guy." And then that leads to this match. So it's Shark Boy taking on Chase Owens. So that's who EC3 says he's got to fight. and Chase Owens wins because EC3 drops his headset and got shot by the match, basically. And then when he sits back down, obviously Adnan Burke's like, so what the hell are you doing? And he goes, well, I'm sick of being disrespected, blah blah blah. He's such a. I'm not gonna get lectures off a guy who's made a name wearing a shark mask for the last 20 years or whatever. He says something derogatory like that. So that gets that rivalry up and running, sort of. And then we got another tag team match. I'm not going to say player. And this is going to continue the feud between Gable Steveson and Chuck O'Neill. And this match is going to be a tables match. So we've had a few stipulations recently for Gable and Chuck, because they build up to their match at Final Command, which I think, is going to be a cage match. It's going to be some kind of stipulation match anyway. Which is why this match is. So it's going to be Jervis Cottonbelly and Chuck O'Neill, and they're going to take on the team of Zicky Dice and Gable Steveson, as I said. And given it's the main event, we'll give the babyfaces the win. So we'll say Chuck beats Zicky, because why not? And then that continues that. And again, it's building up to the match. So we've had a few tag teams we've had a few tag team matches with Chuck and Gable. We've had different sort of partners. So I think that's a good one. And then finally, the main event segment. It is going to be a running blood attack. And it's going to be Omos, who I am going to have to pay now, and his victim is going to be Adam Scherr. So obviously when Matt Raywald and Adam Scherr argued early in the night, Matt Raywald could have said, oh well, Omos is not here, and that's why I'm here. And he can basically he'll pretend Omos isn't here, and then Adam Scherr will come out at the end of the show and he'll say something like, I'm still annoyed about what happened earlier with Matt Raywald. Instead of flapping your gums, why don't you lace your boots back up? And then Matt Raywald can come out. He'll say, well, you okay? You want to fight? Fair enough. And then he starts walking to the ring, and then Omos will come through the crowd and sort of lay him out from behind, and then cut him open. So there we go. Again, continuing the build for that. That feud seems to be going on forever, but it will be joined to a close very soon. Right, so we want to try and get 60% as always. Let's see if we can. I think we should be okay. That's a good start. Already over 60%, which is pretty good. Good. That's good. They both got over. That's excellent stuff. Mina Shirakawa keeps getting over. Yeah, that's fine. Good. I wasn't expecting that, but we'll take it. We'll definitely take that. I'm going to feel the last segment's going to crash and burn, but hopefully not. Good, decent little tables match. Ah, there we go. Yeah, I knew it was going to happen. Fair enough. 63% though. A bit annoyed about the last segment actually. I was hoping for a bit better there. But no doubt, Adam Scherr getting more and more annoyed with me. Yeah, I really don't know how to keep him happy, but I am trying. 164 people, so we're well over 150 people. So that's excellent stuff. Enjoying Disruption. Let's see what any more interesting. Nope, no more emails. That's fine. Right, so we can plough on now to Thursday, the latest episode of After Dark. Only 5 segments on that show, of course. Anything interesting going to happen in the meantime? Let's see. 10th of April, my mum's birthday. If anyone cares about that. No? Okay then. I care. Oh, here we go. Show day. I thought it was Friday. It's Thursday, isn't it? Yeah, what I'm talking about. Yeah. So let's do a in honour of my mum. Let's put on a great show. That will be my rousing. Speech to the guys before they go out there. I'm going to kick things off with a little callback to what happened in the last episode. So it's going to be an angle. It's going to be a challenge for tonight. And that challenge is going to be Gable Steveson and Zicky Dice. So basically Gable Steveson, so the show would start, Gable Steveson would storm to the ring. He'd be really, really annoyed. And then he'd grab the microphone and say, right, Zicky Dice, get your ass out here. You cost me the tables match, so I'm going to cost you your... I don't know. Something cool. Something really... something actually cool and menacing, I don't know. I'm not a writer. So he calls him out, they have a match, and that match starts now. So it's Gable Steveson and Zicky Dice. Could have been a tables match, but we'll not. We're not going to do that. So Gable Steveson and Zicky Dice. And Zicky Dice is going to win, but he's going to win by disqualifications. And what would happen is basically, the match would go about 30 seconds. Steveson would unless Steveson had low blow him or something, he'd do something pretty much straight away to get the match called off. Or he drags him out the ring and whacks him with a ring bell or something like that. He gets disqualified pretty quickly anyway. And then maybe you could have do we have Chuck O'Neill come out the end? No, we don't. So we could have the commentator say, oh, Chuck O'Neill's not here tonight, or something like that. I don't know. Can they do a beat? I don't think you can. You can't book beatdown, even though when you have a DQ, it's a bit weird. But anyway, that's what would happen. So even after the match, the bell will keep ringing, and eventually the agents will come out and drag Gable Steveson away, or something like that. I don't know. And that's to build up, of course, to the Chuck O'Neill match. Then we're going to have an interview with our favourite idol, which is, of course, Maki Itoh. And she targets Mina Shirakawa and just basically attacks her and just says something like, well, I'm not interested, I'm not interested in Chris Dickinson, but just to know that if I was, I could have him like that. Just basically just winding her up about Chris Dickinson and slagging her off and saying that why I'm more talented, I'm a better wrestler than you, I'm a better singer than you, I'm better looking than you, blah 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 blah. But luckily for you, I'm not interested. So she's just winding her up essentially. And then we're going to do a hype package for the Omos and Adam Scherr feud, which has obviously been going on for, I think since about 2007, I think this feud's been going on, but we'll keep it going anyway. Keep it going a little bit longer. We have a tiny roster. I'm going to keep feuds going. I'm going to elongate feuds somehow. I mean, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins feud has been going on for about 12 years. So if they can do that, then I can do this. Is it 12 years? Something like that. Anyway, maybe not quite that long. But yep, that's that one. And then the main event is going to be the rematch between Shark Boy and Chase Owens. So again, EC3 on commentary kind of be building this and be talking about this match throughout the night. I mentioned, there'd be a little video at the beginning of there'd be a little graphic at the start of the show saying this was the main event, and EC3 had demanded it to go on. And it's going to be Shark Boy, as I said, taking on Chase Owens, and I need to put a stipulation. It's a stipulation. So we'll go for. We don't want anything too extreme. We're giving it away for free in a graveyard slot, and no one's going to watch it. So we'll say it's a. Yeah, I'll just go false count anyway. Why not? Shark Boy and Chase Owens. And this time Shark Boy wins, so he gets his win back. And again, it's building to something, not between those two, but we'll keep going anyway. We'll keep picking on anyway. Right, so After Dark, 5 segments, nice and quick, nice and easy. Let's go. Good. Got a Gable Steveson getting over this. His charisma's not very good, so the fact he's getting over this is excellent stuff. Good. I have to say, Gable Steveson is exceeding my expectations. Excellent. Excellent. Good. I was expecting overness been lost there. Almostness been lost. Move on. And that was a good match as well. Excellent stuff. 65%. Nice show. And a nice way to end the video. 167. Is that more than we got for... Is that more than we got? I think did we get 165 for the previous show? I can't remember. Anyway, that's not important. What is important is that this video is just about done now. So we've got 2 more shows to do before we get to Final Command. So I've got something in mind which we're just going to add to the card. We're nearly done. Nearly done the build. Feels like it's gone on a while, this build, but I think we've got 2 shows and no roster split. It's quite quick. It's quite easy to feel like you repeat yourself quite a lot. So but yeah, we're nearly there now. So yeah, that's all there's to say. Let's end the video. So if you enjoyed this video, then please like and share the video. You can also leave a comment on the video, just like Mike. If you would like to do so while you're on YouTube, if you head on over to the channel, The Uncommentators, you will find the rest of the videos in this playlist. You will also find a myriad of other games I've played through. I've done a previous series for this game where I booked Pro Wrestling Guerrilla for a year, so please go and check that out. I might resuscitate that series actually, because the last episode, no, it's not worth watching it now because I'm going to spoil it, but the last episode, The Rock debuted. So there was a lot of ways we could go after that. But then the series just ended, so might go back to it. Anyway, yeah, I have done that. If this series isn't catching your imagination, then hopefully that one will. Also, I've played WWE Crush Hour for the PlayStation 2. So again, if you like wrestling, please go and check that out. If you don't like wrestling, I'm not quite sure how you've got here, but if that is the case, then there is lots of other content for you to enjoy, such as Sonic the Hedgehog, such as Pokemon, such as Kirby, South Park Rally, etc, etc. But until next time, we're going to be moving on. We're going to be finalising the build to Final Command. But to at that point, for now, from me, it is sayonara.